All right, that's enough about teams that didn't make the playoffs. Now let's get to one team that's in the playoffs, not in the play-in, and if you let them tell it, it's the Warriors Invitational is what this Western Conference playoffs is.
Damn right.
I would say we have to value the ball more, take great shots, and communicate on defense. We do those three things. I don't see a team who can beat us in a 7-game series when we're healthy. So if we do those three things going forward, I think we'll be in a great position to repeat.
I was on a team that won 73 games, and we lost the final game of the season, and no one talks about that team. So, moral of the story is it does not matter what you do in the regular season. You get to the playoffs, your team will be judged by how you do in the playoffs. No one will, be talking about, oh, they won this many road games or that. No one will care. So just got to go in and take care of, executing the game plan, not making some of the mistakes that we've made throughout this regular season, really being locked in and focused and understanding the road ahead and knowing what it takes will help.
All right, Natalie, you can just relax. Like, we know where you stand on this. Yeah, you go ahead and do your little dance, your little happy dance. It's your time of year. It's Nat season. Vinny, were Clay and Draymond speaking facts about this being the Warriors' title to lose if healthy?
I mean, if this is the WWF, maybe, you know what I mean, where you get the championship belt and somebody got to take it away from you. But this title belongs to nobody. And the thing is, the Western Conference is so mid. Every team, with the exception of probably the Sacramento Kings, can feel like that they have a reasonable chance of coming out the West and getting to the finals.
Wait, you said every team with the exception of the Kings could think they have a chance?
The exception. The Kings feel like this. Do the Kings feel like they could win a round in the playoffs? Yeah, they probably feel like they can get out of a round and that would conclude a successful season for them. But they didn't set out to be playing in June. Denver did, Memphis did, the Clippers, the Suns, Golden State. Those teams are basically June or bust. That's all I'm saying. There's no disrespect to them, but it's what goals do you have that are realistic from April to now? And for me, if the Lakers look like, hey man, we're the best team in the West after the All-Star break, reasonable. If the Clippers are saying, hey, we've got the dude who might be the singular best two-way player in the conference, and maybe we'll get Paul George back. Fair. You got the Warriors that are saying, hey, we're the champs, and we haven't lost a series with our starting five together. Fair. If you look at Denver and say, hey, we are healthy for the first time in 3 years, and we've got a 2-time MVP and home court at altitude throughout the entire Western Conference playoff. Everybody has a case. It does not matter what the Warriors believe. They can look, I keep telling you all the time, I would like to believe I can go on a date with Kelly Rowland. What the hell does that do in real life? It doesn't mean anything. It just sounds nice to say. So if Clay and Draymond and Steph are all foolishly confident enough to believe that, I'm actually riding with them. And I'll say foolishly confident because, I mean, you got to be delusional to believe that a 44-win team is going to come out of the Western Conference, which means there's like 6 or 7 delusional-ass teams.
If I were single, I'd ask. If I were single, I'd ask Kelly Rowland straight out. I'm just saying, Betty, you ain't got no excuse. Just go ahead and ask. And
that
all
woman
she
is
can say
married.
is no.
It's a happy home. I don't break up happy homes.
Okay. That's a fair point. Now, let me ask you this. You're talking about Golden State, and Klay Thompson just said there, I don't see a team that could beat us 4 times in a 7-game series. Do you see a team that could beat the Warriors in the West in a 7-game series? And if so, who's that team? Or who are those teams?
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors. Have you not seen their movies all season long? The way that they don't defend on the road, the way that they haven't taken care of the ball. Like, all of those things can happen. More teams get beat in the playoffs by themselves than they do by their opponent. And the Golden State Warriors, they have never historically been a team that doesn't beat itself. That's just what it is. They're a high volume team. They're a high ceiling team, but sometimes that floor can get really, really low. Now, if I'm Clay and I'm Draymond, absolutely I'm going to believe such things. Is there going to be a couple of bad matchups for them? Maybe. But if you're, like I said, the Lakers can think the same thing. But the Lakers haven't seen Anthony Davis and LeBron James healthy for 2 months long at a time. I'll tell you a team that I consider the favorite. It's the team that the Warriors, I don't think, wanted any parts of in the first round of the playoffs, and that's Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, his winning percentage this year is 72 in the games that he's played. That averages out to like a 62 win team. Hey, the boy ain't lost, right? And if he's healthy and he's shooting 60% from the field, 40 from three, 80 from the line.
Natalie, if he wears the right size shoe, I
let him go on with his rants and his nonsense for like a long time. But okay, first of all, like you want to point out to me about when Kevin Durant plays, but we're gonna always ignore Stephen Curry missed 27 games. Andrew Wiggins missed 45 games. I think it's actually absurd that, yes, their road record is bad. No shit. Like, it's bad because, like, they did not have players playing. So you really cannot judge this. Like, you can judge them on their record for the season fair, but the team that was depleted playing throughout the season is not the one that's going to be playing in the postseason.
Everybody has that story.
Everyone doesn't. Everyone doesn't have that story.
Yes,
hold on. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you when you spoke. I let you get through your points. Okay. So everyone doesn't have that story. That's first of all. But even if you want to say that, that's fine. My only thing is that it's not delusion then to believe in yourself, because in the games where the starting five played, they had the best starting five in the league. They also had one of the top defenses, top five. So we want to talk about when their starting five actually got to play, they were killing it. So they're not delusional to have that belief. So we'll just see what happens. Just like you noted, all the other teams should believe in themselves because of their circumstances, but shows to the Warriors, like harping on this road record when they didn't have one of the most important positions, the wing, there for more than half of the games is silly to me. It just makes no sense. So like Draymond said, no one gives a damn. No one's going to be talking about the road record. At the end of the day, they got to go out and produce now in the postseason. And the Warriors are the only current team who have a history of going on the road and winning a game in every series that they've played in. They are the only team that's together that has the history of doing that.
Hey, Vinny,
okay, let me make something. I need to make something clear here, because this turns into Vinny versus the Warriors, and that's not the case here. Like, I'm not going.
You said you was riding with him.
I like she's addressing me as if I said I wouldn't pick them in a 7-game series. Like take it easy. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying literally. I literally said that every team in the West, to be a champion, you have to be ridiculously delusional and very lucky. That does not just singularly apply to the Golden State Warriors. It is incredibly hard to win a championship, let alone 4 or 5. So what I'm simply saying is every team in the West has been disjointed, has had to deal with injuries or other circumstances that has prevented them from being their full self for an extended period of time, along with having some level of fatal flaw that could prove to be their undoing. The Warriors are not alone in that, but they're not exempt from it either.
So, hey, listen, here's what we learned from this, all right? That was very healthy. That was healthy disagreement. Sometimes teammates fight. You guys are teammates. Sometimes teammates fight, but they can keep their hands to themselves. They ain't got to throw weak-ass chest punches, on the sideline.
Would you rather he punched them in the face?
I would have rather he not punched him at all. But I'm saying
he didn't want to hit him.
That's exactly. That was not a real punch.
He didn't want to hit him.
He didn't want to.
He just wanted to calm down. He just wanted to calm down.
Or did he not know how to throw hands?
Having said that, he's been suspended, Rudy Gobert that is. He's been suspended for the play-in game. If they advance or if they have to play the second play-in game, he'll be back for that. But where does this team, but this team generally seems to have some dysfunction around it, Vinny. These chemistry issues have been present all year. What does this mean for Minnesota, both in the short term and in the long term as it relates to Rudy Gobert's fit or lack thereof?
I think it's going to cause some personnel moves that they were going to have to make regardless. Like, let's get one thing straight. Very rarely will you call someone that word and something positive happens in the immediate aftermath. I've been in plenty of situations where that word has been hurled around it, and in the immediate present future,
absolutely,
there was probably some furniture moving at that case.
Yes.
And Rudy Gobert, to his credit, if someone repeatedly calls you that, you might actually have to steal off on him. It was one of those things where he was going to be wrong no matter what he did. Because if he did nothing, his teammates would have looked at him and said, damn, maybe he really is.
Right.
it was a no-win situation there whatsoever.
You definitely are damned if you do. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But you don't. You don't do that. You don't throw punches on the sideline.
I don't know.
We've all had personal experiences where we've had the chicken cross the road sort of situation where, man, if I do this, then it's going to be this. But if I don't do this, then and next thing you know, fisticuffs, or you hit somebody in the chest because you can't hit them in the face.
You know what though? I gotta say, it's such a toxic thing. This is really a toxic thing for a man. Okay, can we be honest? Like, we all know what's up. We're all black men. Natalie, listen to us here, okay? And you know it too.
Oh boy.
You say this. No, really. I mean, you say that to a black man. That is triggering. That is a triggering comment to a brother. So I think they both should have been suspended because you put me in a position where I got to do something. Why are you doing that to you, calling me out like that? What am I supposed to do? As you said, Vinny, if he doesn't do anything, his teammates are looking at him. If he does something, the front office is going to want to talk to him. But who caused it? Kyle Anderson is a co-conspirator in this. They both should be suspended, man.
You could not swing on him. I'm saying you could not swing on him. You could do a push him.
I'm just supposed to.
You could
give it back to him.
But you could not. But you could not swing on him.
You're provoking me. You're actually provoking me.
If you're going to suspend both, I don't think they can be equal suspensions. One person threw a hit and one is just words, like whether it's triggering or not.
No such thing as just words. No such thing.
But that's actually why they only gave him a 1-game suspension. And that was acknowledged. Like here, the Timberwolves had to suspend Gobert for throwing a punch, but accepted that it was a shot to the chest with no intent to injure Kyle Anderson and understood that Anderson called Gobert a bitch repeatedly on a night Gobert was playing hurt. So
okay, let's hold on. Let's pull the curtain back just a wee bit, y'all. Now, I have never. That's like saying, like, do you shoot to kill, like all that stuff. If you punching somebody, you ain't punching them with the thought of in a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, let me just hit him in a place where it don't hurt. No,
exactly. That was a pourly executed
There wasn't
punch.
the depth of thought there.
I agree.
Yeah, he was fortunate. They were both fortunate.
He had a bad. He had to reach. What's Rudy? 7 what? He had to reach on him, but he didn't really. He didn't have a great angle.
But Vinny's right. He wasn't saying, let me hit him soft in the shoulder. No, that wasn't what he was saying. He was trying to hit him. He just didn't do a good job of it.
Right. And I think the more important point
if we gonna fight, we gonna fight in the locker room off camera. I can keep some anger for the next. I'm saying I can keep some anger for the next 5 minutes. If someone called me that in a professional setting, where I know I'm gonna see them later, I said, "Is that what you just called me? I'll show you one later, and I will definitely show him one when he looks in the mirror in the locker room after that." So no.
And he ain't the first or the last.
Retribution.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't the first or the last to be called that in the huddle or on the sideline. Like,
really,
he was dead wrong.
Draymond Green and Kevin Durant.
People have said that a million times to people. It is triggering. I agree with you, Michael, on the street. But you're an NBA player. You gotta manage to control yourself in that situation and not put you or your teammates in harm's way when it comes to what y'all are collectively trying to accomplish right now.
Reason number 733 why I'm not in the league. I mean, there are all kinds of skill reasons why. But see, okay, now you. I mean, I'm not
trying to make this Will Smith or Chris Rock, but it's interesting how the tables have turned. Because once upon a time, you told me how Will Smith needed to control himself. Okay,
he walked up there. It's different circumstance.
I know it's different.
And I think there's a difference. And I think there's a slight difference. As far as us stepping back and looking at it from 30,000 feet, I looked at the reaction of his teammates compared to them not looking at Kyle Anderson when Kyle Anderson said it. Nobody looked up when Kyle Anderson said it and said, "Hey, Kyle, you out of line." So to me, this wasn't about a singular moment. This was about their respect or lack of respect for Rudy Gobert since he's become their teammate. and how they responded when he was off the floor. So something you can look at that Chris Rock moment like purely in a vacuum, but in this moment in the team construct in game 82,
representative of larger
that was
issues.
Once again, that's my favorite phrase from Power: fruit of a poisonous tree.
Yeah, and we don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time to get into Bones Highland and Mason Plumlee. For that matter, Jaden McDaniels breaking his hand for punching the wall. Everybody was throwing hands, just like the rest of the country on Easter Sunday. A lot of families were feuding. Hey, real quick, Vinny, though, we want to just get your take on the Mavs family drama before you leave, both in terms of Luka saying, "Hey, nothing to see here. I'm happy," but even we had a little family squabble a minute ago about the NBA's investigation into the Mavericks' blatant tanking to protect their top 10 pick.
I think we have to start looking at Mark Cuban as somebody that's not necessarily fit in the way that we think he is as a genius or as an owner. I mean, think about it like this, and I'll just make this really quick. He talked about Jalen Brunson saying, hey, the problem started with Jalen Brunson when his family got involved, and then you go get Kyrie Irving, whose agent is his stepmother. Explain to me how that's going to work in the long run.
Listen, it may not. Kyrie may be somebody else's issue. But what about the tanking, though? Real quick before we go to break. What about the tanking?
I think it's an insult to the league. They have to investigate it just because of the way that the stakes played itself out. And if I'm the NBA, I'm taking a draft pick, period. That's what I'm doing. I'm going full David Stern. I'm taking a draft pick even if they wind up with it.
Interesting.
Hey, man. Everybody does it. They just don't always do it in plain sight like that. Hey, Vinny, we appreciate you. And thanks to you and Natalie for keeping your hands to yourselves on that Warriors conversation.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.